Moment in history. Ohio historical marker. Lorain Station 100. How many of you have heard of the Underground Railroad? And how many of the slaves traveled and escaped slavery? And some of the houses here in Ohio have double walls in them where slaves hid in homes. And here, Lorain, Ohio, Lorain Station 100, and I'll just read it. Prior to the Civil War, Ohio was a leading state for enslaved Americans of African descent traveling the Underground Railroad to freedom in Canada. For these fugitives, their final stop in Ohio was a Lake Erie port community in the north. One such port was at the mouth of the Black River in Lorain that came to be identified as Lorain Station 100, named because it was thought to be one of the last stops or stations before the fugitive slaves reached freedom in Canada. Many arrived there in a wagon driven by Robbins Burrell, who owned a farm 5 miles up the Black River. Concealed by vegetables, grains, or hay, the slaves were smuggled into schooners, some of which belonged to Burrell's cousin, Captain Aaron Root. From Lorain Station 100, the determined travelers were transported across Lake Erie, completing the final leg of their long journey to freedom. National Council of Negro Women, Lorain County Section, the Lorain Club of the National Association of Negro Businesses, and Professional Women's Club, Inc., the Lorain County Urban League, the Ohio Historical Society. Okay, so there you go. A bit of history. And over there is the Black River. And they would go out. Now this bridge here opens for when ships come in and out of here, the ships. And this was known as a major shipbuilding place as well. So over there, historically, going back to the 1800s and up until recently when they stopped building, was it back in the 70s maybe, was it? I'm trying to remember when they stopped making ships. But it was in that area over there, which are now condos. But that was very historic back in the day of building ships here. And so they would get on, or this is the Black River, and then way out that way, I don't know if you can see it out in the distance, is Lake Erie, and going north into Canada. And so there you go, a bit of history here in Lorain, Ohio. And then I believe it was 1924, a tornado came through here and just destroyed the city of Lorain. And yeah, there was another, that's a hotel now right there, but there was another structure there got demolished. But yeah, that's another piece of history here. And a lot of people got killed in that tornado here. So, but the main thing I wanted to share was that Lorain Station 100, and back in the slavery days, but I hate to say it, but I think many of us are slaves. We're slaves one way or another. I think sometimes some of you all probably feel like slaves in today's modern day, you know, not like back in the pre-Civil War days, you know, that kind of slavery. But if you think about it, you know, you're a slave to your employer. The last job I had, to be honest with you, I felt like a slave. I really did, because I was on their basically on their schedule and at their whim, with staffing shortages. Mandatory overtime was a thing. And, a lot of times, employers advertise a type of work schedule, 7 days on, 7 off, or whatever. And oftentimes it is not the case. You're working more than what's advertised, and then you feel like you're a slave. And but I still think we have some forms of slavery even to this day. And we all a slave. We're all slaves in one form or another, or at least we feel like it. And until somehow you can break free from it somehow. And I guess I can say I'm free in many ways. I was a slave to the U.S. government for many years as serving in the military. I was at their whim, all those years serving. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But now I'm no longer under their thumb anymore, or under an employer's thumb, since I'm now independent to be able to do things on my own, due to a pension and in managing my finances to the point where I can, not have to work a regular 9-to-5 job, So I'm not a slave to it unless I go back and choose to do it out of just sheer choice, as just to do something, or find something where I can make my own schedule, where I'm not like, hey, no, I'm not working that day, or no, I'm not doing that. And then hopefully they can honor that. But a lot of places, they won't honor it. It's so sad is that some employers won't even allow someone to work part-time for them, It's just a crying shame why employers don't take care of employees. But but yeah, man, if I could do something like that, I would do it. Where if I could say, hey, I'm working Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that's it. No more. No, I'm not working weekends. No. Oh, can you help us out? Oh, and then the guilt trips, It's just a shame. That's just how it is with a lot of these employers. And then that's why people say, you know what, screw you, I'm out. And then they lose the person completely. And that's what happened to me in my last position. Like, screw them, man. Yep, took my ball and went home. Yep, that's your fault, not mine. You want to act that way? Hey, I don't got to deal with you. Period. Full stop. But anyhow, keep going if you feel like you're a slave. I hope not, but I can understand why you might feel that way. But keep going, and that's all we can do. That's all we can do is just keep going the best we can each and every day in this crazy world. When you take a step back and you see it for what it really is, man, oh man. And it can stress you out, man. Most certainly can. And make you kind of weary. And just the whole system, as we learn more and more how things are operating, everything, that whole system, that whole system that we're under. And so we're all going through it. But you look at the positives the best you can, enjoying days like today, And got sunshine. I can look at the positive side. I'm walking, talking. I'm thankful that I'm flexible to come and go, do what I want when I want. So I think that's something, you know, you can look forward to if you plan it out and break free from the matrix wherever you are, and somehow come up with another way to do this thing called life. And a lot of people are. They're figuring out other ways to do it, to where maybe they can just they downsize and they're able to work part-time and not have so much things to, you know, they don't have a lot of liabilities. They cut down on their liabilities. And so there's people figuring out new ways to do life. And some people are working seasonal work, just enough to survive. And then the rest of the time they're just doing what they want, travel, whatever, just making enough money and to live life and do it different, instead of being in the rat race, stressing out. And a lot of people they're caught up in that, stressing out every single day. And I remember being on that hamster wheel, man. You know, military life could be stressful too. And you know, it'd be like this dark cloud hanging over the base wherever I was working at sometimes, driving into work, because I just dreaded it. Oh, I dreaded it a lot of times. It's like, oh geez, what's gonna go on today? Or I knew what was gonna go on and I did not look forward to it at all. And the mountains of email, oh. And the rat race and the bureaucracy, red tape and politics and jumping through hoops. Every day was like hair on fire. It was an emergency. Hardly anyone being proactive. You know, it was always reactive. And what's amazing is I can talk to people in the military now, and it's the same stuff. Nothing has changed. Same BS. You know, same crap. Just a different year. It's just unfortunate. And it seems like it's even getting worse in some places too. So anyway, that's about it.